Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast, is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Welcome back to the show, kids. Episode 6 of Season 3 is here. You made it. You did it. You've reached the midpoint of Season 3, which means we are 6 episodes closer to the end of the show. As far as we know, the end of the show, this iteration of the show. More on that later, if and when we get to it. Tom Clark here with you as always, joined by Jay Luft and Joe Higgens. Again, episode number 6. And kids, this is a big one. If you're watching in real time and you watch this already in anticipation of this episode, man, were you knocked out? You should have been. If you're rewatching this show with us for the sake of the podcast, did you bring anything new from it? Because I did. I picked on some stuff maybe I missed the last time. But this is a big episode, guys. Joe, let's start with you. You were telling me before we went live here or started recording here that this is, in your estimation, the best episode of the show. You sticking to that?
I mean, I think I've said that about everyone that we've done so
That's
far,
fair.
to be fair. But yeah, it is a chunky boy at an hour, but it has every single thing that I love about Ted Lasso in there. It has these moments of great gravitas and like pathos and then just incredibly ridiculous like moments and all this back and forth and people dealing with stuff, and it's all just in this one beautiful episode that is, rewatching it I still cried at the bits I cried at last time, even though I knew they were coming. I was like, because it's just so well handled. It's as when we'll get to it, what he said is an incredibly brave thing for someone to say, even though it's fictional characters. It's still very, very well handled, and I think, I don't know about like the IMDb review numbers of it, but this must be one of the highest rated episodes on there because it is just amazingly fun. It
is. Jay, I've often compared to this one to the Beard After Hours episode from season 2 because it just sort of goes everywhere. What do you think about this one, and what do you think about the immensity of it, like Joe talked about?
I think this one's brilliant. I'd actually say not just Beard After Hours, but also the Christmas special, because it feels like a self-contained episode. You don't necessarily need to have seen everything else that's going on to kind of know what everyone else's character. Obviously, it does make a few callbacks to things that happened earlier on, but it's not like, I'd say you could watch this and you wouldn't need to watch any other episode of Ted Lasso if you didn't want to. You could watch this as like a completely standalone episode. Also, to Joe's thing about the IMDb score, it's 8.9.
That's must be in the top 3-4 of it then. Yeah.
Out of a lot of episodes. A lot of ratings as well, to be fair.
Yeah, this is a big. We keep calling it Amsterdam, but that's not. It kind of feels like it should just be the name of the episode. Is how we keep referring to it. It's such a good episode, man. I'm completely knocked out by it. I haven't watched it in forever, and I watched it again for the first time today. And man, you're right, Joe. The way it hits you and the way it just services the characters, the best shows do that. And regardless of whatever buzz was going on around season 3, like, come on, man, it's. For my money, they just nailed it, especially with this episode for sure.
Yeah,
so.
This is your set up to your home run of your last six episodes.
Yeah.
This is you're in the blocks. Go at this one because everything that we need to know now is in play.
For sure.
Very Keeley light episode as well.
Yeah, not a whole lot happening for Miss Jones. So. Well, without any further ado, kids, let's get this thing going. As we said, the title of this episode is not Amsterdam. It's actually Sunflowers. This is season 3, episode 6, original air date April 19th, 2023, directed by Matt Lipsey, on a story by Jason Sudeikis, Bill Lawrence, Brendan Hunt, Sasha Garron, Keeley Hazell, and Dylan Marron. 12 episodes in season 3, kids. And here we go. When last we left the Ted Lasso gang, news of Henry's bullying of another kid in school sent Ted reeling as he attempted to hold it together going into a major matchup against Man City. Nate's relationship with Anastasia ended before it could begin, and a new relationship was sparked between Jack and Keeley, who was forced to fire Shandy from her company. The already struggling AFC Richmond club suffered a major setback with the sudden departure of Zava, leading to another loss, and Rebecca's fears of being unable to bear children were realized in the end. We open with the sounds of a game and another loss for the Greyhounds. We see the guys on the sidelines, gentlemen, and Ted is saying, man, we can't even get a goal for an exhibition match. Roy says, friendly. Ted says, ain't nothing for friendly about what happened out there. And Coach Beard says they call exhibition matches friendlies. Ted says, man, this sport drives me nuts. And Beard and Roy both give him a nod, like I'm sure it's driving them nuts as well. So,
weirdly though, like Richmond are playing in orange, which is normally, as far as I'm aware, isn't that the Dutch national team's colour?
Yeah, like I was going to ask you about that, Jay. In terms of alternate jerseys, alternate kits, what's that look like?
So with home and away kits, you have your home kit, which is the one you play in when you're at home. You have your away one that's usually designed for when, if like the home team who's playing at home has a similar color scheme. So, for example, Ajax wear red and white, Richmond wear red and blue. So because they both have red, to kind of counteract that, Richmond will be wearing the orange. A lot of the time you tend to find clubs are a bit more sort of relaxed about that, and they'll just consistently wear their away kit, even if they don't really need to. But it's more just kind of for ease for the referee to be able to tell who's playing on which team from like further away on across the pitch if need be.
Yeah, and like their episodes in this show are based on Crystal Palace, yeah?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember that episode they had to change that team up just so it wouldn't have the same kit running around on the pitch. So, So in the stands we have Rebecca, Higgins, Keeley, and Carly Weiss, which I believe I pronounced that correctly, as Marlene. I believe it's how it is. Marley, great name by the way. It's spelled differently, but I like it. And apparently she's the owner of this team. We never really get the name of this team, Jay. Who have they played here in Amsterdam?
It's Ajax, who are the famous team from Amsterdam. They're like, I wouldn't say one of the biggest. Well, I would say one of the biggest teams in Europe, but I wouldn't say like one of them. Like they're not on the level of like a Real Madrid or a Bayern Munich. They're almost there. But they're a very, very famous team. Won a lot of European trophies. Generally, you tend to find a lot of like big name players will go to Ajax, make a bit of a name of themselves there, and then move to like either Spain or Germany or England and become like a megastar. But it's kind of like, it's almost like the sort of like to put it in wrestling terms, like kind of like an NXT to go into the main roster sort of thing. But not anywhere close to that level at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's interesting that she's not a real person is interesting to me. I don't know why. I guess we're just used to seeing real people worked in so often through this show.
Yeah. There is a bit where Ted is texting later on and he doesn't know how to pronounce the team as well on the phone. Rebecca's had to put Ajax because it's not pronounced Ajax, which is how it's written. Which I just these little back and forth bits in his phone that it's just there for. But it's world building. Again, there's a great bit coming up that I had to pause it because I was laughing so hard.
Yeah. One thing that is interesting about this is that with a friendly, it's very rare you'd see a friendly like that point in the season. Usually it's like kind of at the start of the season or at the end of the season, you'll see like teams playing friendlies. Usually more towards like the start of the like before the season actually starts. Something like this with them playing sort of mid-season, it would usually be held behind closed doors, not in front of like 50,000 fans. But yeah, it's still it's a cool like thing. Obviously, it's there to kind of show that they need to sort of have a breather, recharge the batteries, but also try and like figure out a new way to kind of rebuild the team.
It's interesting here.
Stuff, was it 5-0?
Yes.
Yeah, 5-0.
Yeah, man. Like, even for a friendly, that's not very friendly.
Yeah.
Like, let them get one, innit?
Yeah, I was gonna say, just keep scoring. Yeah. What's the mercy rule in football? I wonder. Like, we're at the number. You can go home now. We're done.
Oh no, no.
Yeah.
I've watched some Sunday League where it's double figures. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez. She tells them that she's afraid they've been rude hosts, and she references the scoreboard. And Rebecca says, "You've been more than gracious, especially given the circumstances." And for the first time, we hear Three Little Birds by Bob Marley playing. I'm a reggae guy. I am not a Three Little Birds tune guy. I do not like this song. I'm completely with her. I'm sorry. Hate it. It's so overplayed.
It's overplayed, but it is a bop. You got like, but
it fits in the show.
Apparently, you know, like we were saying about West Ham with the blowing bubbles thing.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Ajax play it at halftime and stuff as well, which I wasn't aware of until I looked it up. And then my other fun fact about that is that one year they wore a shirt, like a kit, that was a tribute to Bob Marley, which I couldn't find a picture of. But
interesting.
Ajax have some banging kits, to be fair, through the years.
But I thought, nice. You know, I'm not sure what I can only think of one tie-in between Jamaica and Holland.
Is it still? Oh, Jesus Christ, that shirt's amazing.
Oh, I'm glad. Well, anyway, it doesn't really work.
I'll send you guys a picture of this. That's so cool.
Awesome. It's great. Higgins says,
it's a good song, but like I said, it is massively, massively. There's better Bob Marley songs.
Overplayed. Yeah. Higgins says, truly was an honor to play here at the Johan Cruyff Arena. She's very gracious. She said the honor is ours, but it is pronounced Johan Cruyff. I don't know how to. Cruyff.
Right.
And Higgins goes, "Oh, still, oh, so good." Yeah. So there's a reporter who's speaking in Dutch and talking to Jan Moss outside in the hallway. Would you agree that this has been an extremely demoralizing result? Jan says, "Yeah, but luckily our spirits were already broken." Just straight face. Which is good.
Jan Moss, he doesn't mince his words, does he? That's the one thing we know about him.
Complete truth. Complete truth. Reporter asks Roy, says, "Don't you think Richmond's objectively poor performance is due to the fact that you're nothing without Zava?" Roy says, "Who cares? It's a fucking friendly. A friendly is a pretend match. This is a pretend conversation. You're a pretend person with a pretend job. And I'm having a really hard time pretending to give a shit." That's the best part right there.
Yeah. Just it's a waste of time for Roy, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. Rebecca's wanting to get out on a night on the town in Amsterdam. Let's make the best of it. Higgins says, "I'm spoken for, I'm afraid. It's my first time in Amsterdam, and I have a date with someone special in the red light district," and he just leaves. And they're like,
Keeley and Rebecca both look at each other and go, "Nah."
I find it funny that Higgins has no idea what he's saying when he says that. It doesn't occur to him at all through this episode how that sounds.
Yeah.
The only person that kind of mentions it is Will later on.
Yeah.
And even then he's like, "No." It's
so good. Rebecca says, "Just you and me then, kid." And Keeley chuckles. She said, "I'd love to." And she goes, "Oh, that's a quick cancellation." He's like, "How do you know I was going to cancel?" "Because there's a certain note in your vocal range that you only ever hit when you're being preemptively apologetic." The writing on this show, I just love it. The dialogue is so good. Yeah. She says, "Come on out."
We know each other as well.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. She says, she talks about the Aurora Borealis. It's the Aurora Borealis in Norway. And Jack and her plane are waiting for me at the airport. And apparently, we just assume, I guess she has told Rebecca about this relationship. Because Rebecca seems like she's in the know. That's what I took from that.
Yeah, I would assume that there's no secrets between the two of them, is there? You know, it's best buds. But yeah, it was the Aurora Borealis. I was like, That must have took so many takes to get right.
Yeah, it's not easy to get out there. Keeley tells Jan Moss good job on the interview and thanks Roy for doing it. She runs off. She literally runs off. And Roy walks up. He says, where's she going? Rebecca says, somewhere that believes they deserve her.
And I was like, mate, that's stone cold.
Well, that's Rebecca and Roy's rapport.
Oh, yeah, it's 100%. But I was like...
They just completely transparent with one another. Like, tell them as it is.
And to get that moment of realization from Roy. And it's like,
oh, Roy.
But did you notice when he punched the wall, the picture he punched?
I was about to say it was Zabba.
This was what killed me. It was the time on it.
Yeah, it said 2013 to 2013.
2013. One season, if that.
Yeah, I missed the time. I totally missed the time. That's good.
Probably more likely a 6-month stint.
But it's like you've got all these other like legendary players, and then you've just got someone who was there for like 6 months, if that. Yeah, it's just a fun little world building thing.
Yeah,
I like how they're kicking. He's kicking the freaking portrait, the picture. He's kicking it on the wall. That's good. So they get on the bus, and Ted notices the team is down, and Coach Beard says, "Think only you can get these guys out of their pineapple percussions." And Ted goes, "Doldrums." Nice, because he gets it. So he gets up and he says to the team, "I'm about to say 3 words no coach ever says unless he dang well means it." Colin says, "You're all shit." Bumbercatch goes,
Colin's such a negative. Like,
he
is
is
not a piece of shit. Like, he can't.
Right. Yeah, he can't overcome that. Bumbercatch says, "Knowledge is power." Ted says, "True, but no." Sam says, "Live, laugh, love." Ted says, "Correct answer is no curfew tonight. I don't want to see your pretty faces till we get back on this bus." At what time, Coach? 10 a.m., baby.
Baby.
It's great.
It's Beard's face, the realization when Ted said that, though. It's like, I'm getting free reign in Amsterdam.
Yeah, man.
Oh, my.
Luckily, the coach driver's already sorted him out, though.
Oh, yeah.
Kenneth. Oh, I can't wait till we get there. Ted says, "All right, let's be careful out there. Hill Street Blues." Like he has to announce the connection, the source, you know.
It made me chuckle. Like, I have to go and watch Hill Street Blues. I've not seen it in ages.
Oh, same. I grew up watching that show, man.
Yeah.
Beard says, "Smart move, Coach." He says, "Well, they need it. Not as bad as you do." And Danny has some gems in this episode. It's not many.
It's fantastic in this episode.
Should we all take naps so we can stay up later?
like a sleepover. That's what an 8-year-old would say.
And Isaac says, "Nope, we push through and we all meet in the lobby 5 o'clock sharp." Roy, at the top of his lungs, screams, "Not for you, Tart." Jamie says, "Are you serious?"
Jamie's like, "It's going to be mega.
Yeah.
He's like, "No."
Says, "You're not on a fucking holiday from training."
What about my stuff? He just gives it. Just throw that away.
Yeah.
And then Jamie going up to him, "Please don't throw that away."
Don't throw it away. Yeah.
All right, Coach. I'm getting off the coach. He's like, he's having fun.
Oh, it's such a good episode. They run together.
That rapport with each other at this point, where it's like mutual disdain, but Jamie knows that he can just wind him up, and Roy can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's fair. What's he gonna do? Fight him? Like,
what's he gonna do? Make him do more training and help him become better at football? That's exactly what he wants.
I think though, like begrudgingly, Roy respects the fact that Jamie's putting the work in now.
Oh yeah, but Jamie,
that's why he's
just being
a bit more tolerant.
Absolute cheeky scamp all the way through it, though.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Great. That's when Higgins suggests to Will that they hang out together. He says, "Great, our first stop, the red light district." Will just gives him a look, and again, Higgins is oblivious to the reference.
Well, he just puts his headphones back in straight away. Red light district, and he's off with his.
Oh, Jamie and Roy, this is great. They're running through the city. Jamie is sightseeing as he's running, telling Roy about this.
A running tour of the city.
Yes, literally a running tour of the city. Tell him about the skinniest bridge as seen in James Bond's Diamonds Are Forever. Roy's getting upset at him, but Jamie's in the best mood, and he says they're going to go see Amsterdam's thinnest house next. Roy is winded. Roy is really starting to get winded here. Jamie, you notice that Jamie not one time is even breathing hard during all these scenes.
He does a cartwheel to handspring on that bridge. Like,
He does.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah. Rebecca is walking.
He's proper tourist as well, though. Like the
Yeah.
thinnest house.
And I got to say, I've never been. It's beautiful. Like just those shots are just make it look great.
It's a very nice place.
It's a nice city. Yeah.
Rebecca is walking and gets a call from Sassy, who's wondering what's wrong. As she's talking to her, she's nearly run over by several bicycles in a row. This is a running gag through the whole episode. And Sassy tells her to eat a space cake for her. What are we talking about?
Just weed brownies.
Marijuana in brownies or cakes or. Yeah.
I've never heard it called that before.
Yeah, it's pretty much the part of the culture in Amsterdam, isn't it? There's a big coffee shop and marijuana use culture.
Yeah. Because they have access to it, they don't go mental with it like what we would do.
Oh yeah, like if we got it over here, it'd ruin it.
Yeah.
But
as we always do. Yeah.
As we always do, yeah.
I will say this bit annoyed me because Rebecca is a smart woman. She's a woman of the world. She knows what a bike path is.
She's not looking down at the floor at all. No, but that's how like kind of. I think it's how sort of not self-involved, but like how kind of distracted with everything that's going on with her. Is like she seems very like sort of distant throughout the whole episode until this all happens anyway. Like when she's in the press box and she doesn't see herself.
It just felt very out of place. But yeah,
right,
you
look down at the floor. You see there's a big cycle,
big orange bike path with people calling you for being in the way. You'd be like, hang on a minute.
Also, from being to a lot of places in Europe, which have that kind of culture, like you'll fucking hear them like before you can kind of get near to getting hit by any of them because they're just ringing the bell the entire time they're cycling.
It's fun. This is the first time we meet the Dutchman. By the way, his name never gets announced during this episode, but it is Mathis, Matthiijs. I assume is Mathis, but I'm not sure. I don't know if they ever even say it out loud in the course of this show. Played by Matteo Vandergren.
I don't think they do because they do the thing at the end, don't they?
Yeah, but that's just a pull away shot, isn't it? So again, it just adds to the mystery of it all.
Oh yeah. He's on a nearby boat. He's seeing Rebecca on this little bridge, and she's on the phone. These guys are zooming past her. He whistles at her, and he says, I saw you walking just there, and I thought I had to say something to this beautiful woman. First time I watched this episode, I thought, this guy's a scumbag. Like, she's got a history of bumping into scumbags, and I thought, who says this to a woman in public? I mean, it turned out fine, but at first I thought, oh, he's one of those guys.
I was similar with it.
But they've already set the groundwork that Dutch people are very direct with Janmaat.
Yeah.
So
that was where I was going with it. And
being very direct.
And it's not like it didn't come across as sleazy. It just came across as like something that he sits on his deck all day. He's got a coffee, and he's just watching the world go by, and he's like just seen, Hannah Waddingham walk past. Yeah, I'd probably yell something at her. It's not horrible, but
she's in the cycle lane. You don't want her to get hit by a.
You don't want her to get mashed by a cyclist.
Let alone fall off a bridge.
Great point. Great point. I didn't even think about the Dutch bit. That's a great point. Yeah, awesome. I totally missed that. Rebecca gets knocked over the side of the bridge. This is an impressive fall, by the way. The fact that she doesn't hit her head. Yeah,
I thought that. I was like, she's very lucky she's not concussed. Oh,
right?
Dead in the mouth.
Yeah, she goes over the side. When she comes up, she's asking about her phone. He says, who cares? You're alive. But then she keeps talking about it. So he suddenly throws his phone into the water as well. And she...
a very, very Hallmark thing to do, I will say.
I was going to say, like, the thing that this reminds me of is the film Before Sunrise. Because it's
I don't think I've seen that one.
So it's basically a film about two strangers meeting on a train and having a conversation, and then basically having like walking around the city, and then they never see. They basically like, right, we'll meet up in this place in like 10 years time or something, and then it becomes like a trilogy of films.
Right. That sounds fun.
Ethan Hawke's in it, very good. But yeah, I think this whole thing with Rebecca and this guy's kind of like a bit of a nod and a wink to that film because it's in a European city as well.
Is this a meet cute? Is that what we're seeing here?
This is very much a meet cute, yes.
Mm.
You're learning the lingo.
There you go. Hey,
we'll have you on one day. Yeah.
I'm trying. Hey, anytime you're ready.
You don't say that. Better. Don't, Jay regrets his decision.
I'm still not
still traumatized by Hogan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Still sad.
Yeah. He when she comes
like, "Where's my phone?" And he's like, "It's at the bottom of the canal. It's gone."
Yep.
Like, he's like, "Come over." So, yeah. This is the weird thing. I'm like, okay, random stranger. I'll just swim over to you. But,
no kidding. I guess you don't have a lot of choice, but like,
well, no one else is stopping to help, are they? Like,
that's fair. That's true. Yeah, that's fair. She asked what he was going to tell her, and he says, "You're walking in the bike lane." She screams, "How the fuck was I supposed to know that?"
This city.
Yeah. In the hotel, Beard's getting ready for a night on the town, doing various bits of grooming as Ted is texting Rebecca. And we're in the middle of a story, so I don't know who he's talking about. Maybe we don't get to it here. He says, "Remember when Jordan wouldn't wear Reebok in the Olympics?" There's your first Jordan reference for the show.
Mm-hmm.
World Cup, Cruyff refuses to wear Adidas. They got to make him a special 2-stripe shirt. He was a badass, but he was also a paragon of the 60s, so he was bigger than Jordan, really. He was like Jordan and John Lennon combined. Who's he talking about?
He's talking about Johan Cruyff, who is who like he's an Ajax legend, Dutch football legend, regarded as one of the best footballers that ever lived.
I also have one football fact: he invented the Cruyff turn.
He did.
Yes.
He also invented total football, which is the tactic that Ted ends up using.
Yeah.
So nice.
That's why there's a lot of mentions of Johan Cruyff in this episode. He's very good footballer. But
again, is this the thing of Beard subliminally planting seeds in Ted's head?
Possibly.
Is he just talking to?
I think so. I think so because Beard's been reading that book since like the first episode about total football. So obviously, Beard's completely onto what like kind of like the style of football that like Johan Cruyff invented. So it's like, well, maybe if I just like put it in Ted terms, which is basketball.
And then he'll come up with it and think it was his idea, even though it was my idea all along.
Which is exactly what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Ted's looking for a place to eat. The name of this place, fucking great. The Yankee Doodle Burger Barn. I'd go to the Yankee Doodle Burger Barn. That's awesome.
I wouldn't. Based on the 2.9 2.9 hygiene rating.
2.7.
2.7, which Beard goes, we can do better. But Ted, ever the optimist, it's out of 5.
Yeah.
That's fair, yeah.
But it's that thing as well of like going to another country and going to, it's the British thing of going to Spain and only having chips and egg. Like it's, when we get to it, it looks terrifying. It looks like a hellish version of TGI Fridays.
Yeah. I think for Ted, it's kind of like, he's going to like an American restaurant because he's homesick, and then when he gets there, the imitation's not the same as like
it's like some sort of cursed monkey paw version of it.
It's like America drawn from memory, and it's just not. It's as I say, it's even though he's very much wanting to kind of like just have a little slice of home while he's in a foreign country, it's still not what he's actually looking for.
Yeah.
I've had no lunch today, so when I hear the words Yankee Doodle Burger Barn, I get hungry.
One. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But Burger Barn is a misnomer anyway.
Yeah, for sure. He's telling Beard that he's stuck and needs to get out of his head. he needs to either get punched in the face or drink a couple bottles of red wine and then yell at his mom. He just wants to try something new to help him get inspired. And Beard very cryptically says, I've been waiting for you to say those words for a very long time.
But with his eye moisturizers on as well.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
lined. Yeah.
Well, yeah. This next bit is something that runs basically beginning now through to the very end of this episode. In the lobby of the hotel, the guys are meeting and start ordering drinks, but Isaac stops them.
They're not ordering drinks because we're going out.
They try. Yeah. Now he says, no, we're heading out. So he starts taking suggestions. Richard wants to take a train to Paris. Of course he does. We're in Amsterdam. What do you want to do? Go to Paris. What?
Yeah, it's only going to take you through, 7 other countries to get there?
Yeah.
Sam wants to take a boat tour through the canal. Yeah. Farmer says...
Sam's dad recommended the boat journey, which I thought was like Sam still listening to his dad. Like,
oh, it's fair.
Yeah.
Barbara Catch has the line of the episode. This is my favorite line. I'm telling you, I love this so much. He says, we're near The Hague. We can go to the International Court of Justice, poke around, ask some questions. So good.
And everyone just looks at him like, okay.
Where'd that come from? You know?
Conspiracy
it's so good. And as soon as I say he had the line of the episode, Danny says, I'd like to see a tulip. Just one, because an entire field would be incredibly overwhelming. Freaking Danny, man. Van Damme wants to go to a live sex show, and Isaac tells asks Trent what they should do. Every time something's mentioned, they either go, no, or they just really can't decide collectively what to do. Trent
That's the problem when you've got that many people together. You're not all going to want to do the same thing. Like,
that's fair.
I mean, I don't know. I'd go to The Hague, poke about. Yeah, that's what I'd do, I think.
Trent mentions the Amsterdam's museum culture. Colin says, I didn't come to Amsterdam to learn things. That's another great line. Sam suggests staying in and watching a movie as a team.
He pitches that about 4 times throughout the entire episode as well.
Yeah.
Higgins comes out with, that's good. Higgins comes out with Will. And this is another reference to the red light district, by the way.
This is it. He was like, we're off down. When it's time for Will to become a man. And all this, like, he sets it up. And he's like, right, we're off. And they all do the same. They'll just go, nah.
Awesome. They ask Jan, since it's his home turf, he says, okay, tourists, thank you for getting all those terrible ideas out of the way. Now listen, my cousin, Martin Garrix, is DJing at a private all-night party. We're talking drinking, dancing, and women to the morning, which is when they'll be serving a hearty breakfast. It's important to throw that in, you know.
I mean, that sounds ideal.
Yeah.
I don't drink, but I can have fun there. Yeah.
I was going to say, don't fuck around with breakfast in Holland either.
No. I'd be there for the breakfast, if nothing else. Yeah.
I'll be there for the breakfast, yeah.
It's like, well, how was the party? Well, I had to sit through the women and booze and whatnot, but I had a great breakfast, let me tell you. You know. This is where Colin suddenly, out of the blue, stands up and announces that he's bowing out. He ate some pickled herring earlier, which is enough to make me never want to go anywhere. And now his stomach's upset. Trent notices this, and Van Damme yells, "You're going to miss the live sex show, bro." Which is good.
Someone just goes, hydrate, as he walks off.
Hydrate,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, I think. Yeah. The guys agree to go with Jan's idea, but he tells them it's a 2-hour drive, and they're all immediately out. We're not going. That's it. Like, does it matter if it's 2 hours, honestly?
If you're on the coach, you put some tunes on, innit? You get a couple of cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get the coach there, it's not that
They've
bad.
got Kenneth to drive. Oh, Kenneth's probably not in a fit state to drive, is he? He's in Amsterdam, off the chain.
Yeah. Kenneth's got like his 12 hours off the clock, mate.
Yeah. And he's using all of it.
We never see him. We never see him one time.
No.
Which is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But they're all getting loud again, and Danny says, "Why don't we just split up? Tulips with me." But Isaac isn't having. He says, "We're all doing."
I'm sure they probably have tulips in the hotel. A lot of the hotels just decorate them with tulips because it's a touristy thing.
Yeah, but It's just Danny, isn't it? Like
Sweet
It's
Danny.
Danny.
sweet.
What do we refer to
simple
him as? He's like a puppy. He's just like a real life
Labrador.
puppy.
He's like
Yeah.
a Labrador puppy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just full of energy, all misdirected in the wrong direction. Yeah.
Yeah. Isaac isn't having it. He says they're all going to do something as a team. They just decide to order drinks plus a lot of napkins so they can vote. Rebecca's on the boat and comes out of the shower. She checks her clothes in the dryer, and it's like 2 hours and a half left. How much power does this boat not have for that dryer to have 2.5 hours
I think it
left?
was a washer dryer combined, I think, because
Mm.
of the limited space on a houseboat. I assume it would be washing them because you've been in manky canal water,
Hmm.
and then you'd want them dried as well. But
Interesting.
yeah, or it could be wool or something you've got to dry very slowly, or
Mm.
again
I don't know.
for a plot point.
Sure. She can't find anybody.
Surprising amount of water pressure for a boat. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's a weird statement.
I'm not on
Have
boats
you-
a whole lot, but it was nice.
I was gonna say, have you not been in a houseboat before, Joe? Had a shower on one. Oh God.
No, I hate the sea and all
you
water
might-
in general.
You might as well. I've only been on a houseboat once, and that you might as well just get a fucking hose on yourself.
Just
Just
wash
just
yourself under
trickle
the
it.
tap. Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. There is no water pressure at all.
Yeah, but I think because these are like hard standing, aren't they? They're essentially moored there permanently, so there's probably some
Yeah.
system in place or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably got like a turbine underneath.
Anyway,
She's snooping around. She finds a kid's room, and then she finds a cup. She finds some tea on the table with a note that says, "For you, it's not drugged. I promise."
I promise.
There's so much foreshadowing in that scene where they're walking around.
Yeah.
Like it's brilliant. And you don't if you're watching this for the first time, you haven't got a fucking clue what it's foreshadowing.
No.
But knowing what we know, it's fantastic. It's such a clever amount of foreshadowing.
It's a lovely scene. It's just nosy, isn't it? If someone leaves you alone in the house, you're gonna have a about, aren't you? Like,
Oh yeah.
but,
Make sure
because
that
I was like, because when she opened them, I was like, oh god, there's a little girl's room. Oh dear. Because my brain automatically goes to bad places. Like, I bet there's a couple of times in this where I'm like, he could be a murderer.
You're the Colin. You're the Colin
I
of
am
this.
the Colin.
Yeah.
I am not a piece of shit.
People can change, Joe.
That's great. Jamie and Roy are still running, and Jamie yells out, "Right down there, there's the bench from Fault in Our Stars. The movie."
The movie.
I love
Movie.
that accent.
Like, it was going to be the book. He drew a picture of it. Yeah, bless him.
Did you notice how far behind Roy was in that spot?
Roy's gassed at this point, though, isn't he? Like, he's got doubt left.
Oh, it's awesome. Higgins and Will are walking and nearly get run over by a bicycle. This keeps happening.
Yeah.
Will is obviously nervous and asks Higgins if everything's all right at home, which is great.
He's like, we're nearly there. And he's like, okay.
Yep. They stop at a place and Higgins starts narrating it. His name was Chet Baker, American, gifted trumpeter, unique singer, and a heroin addict. He was tortured by demons, but they didn't stop him from making beautiful music. He's what got me into jazz in the first place. You hear his story and you think, there's nothing more punk rock than that. Then on the 13th of May, 1988, he passed away on this very spot. He fell from that window up there. It wasn't an accident. Did he jump or was he pushed? He sounds like a true crime documentary.
It's, again, sounds like a walking tour thing, but I like the fact that Will goes, and tonight we're going to solve the crime like it's some Scooby-Doo episode.
It's like, no.
No.
We're just here to pay our respects to a legend. What led to his death? We don't know. We only know that we only know this.
Drugs are bad.
I love
yes.
the kind of again, there's a few times where they do this where there's things going in threes within this episode. And this is one where it's like a three-pronged joke where it's like Rebecca lifts up the thing with a tea and it says it's not drugged. Then here Higgins goes, drugs, bad. And then literally the next scene is then Beard giving Ted the drug tea.
Yeah.
Well done. Triangle. Oh, stop it.
Triangle, yeah.
Mate,
Wonderful.
It's all this episode is
Triangles.
Wonderful. Yeah, that was great. By the way, it occurred to me as I watched this scene, had stuff not went sideways with Nate, this would have been Nate and Higgins, you think? Would Nate have gone with him?
I don't know, because Nate would have still been like a coach at this point, wouldn't he? But then I think the thing is, Nate leaving creates kind of like a butterfly effect of pushing Roy closer to helping out Jamie and becoming a better coach in that sense.
Yeah.
Will with the team, obviously Ted kind of doing a lot of soul searching and Beard trying to kind of help Ted in that sense as well. So I think without Nate leaving, like, a lot of this doesn't happen.
That's fair.
Maybe the trip
we
to
always
Amsterdam.
say everything happens for a reason. Yep.
Yeah. It had me thinking as I was watching that. Well, the spot you talked about is coming up next. Back in Beard's room, he's preparing a concoction given to him by Kenneth, the bus driver. It's funny, we never see him do it. Like we hear it and we see him, but we never see the ingredients.
He goes back to Ted, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's I'm assuming it's mushrooms.
Yeah, it's definitely mushrooms.
It's the fact that it's again, even in drug use, Beard is I just don't want my medicine taxed, like, because he's brought that over with him, where you can legally buy them in Dam. Like, it's
Yeah, and
but
Ted's
it's like some people, it tastes horrible. Some people put them in peanut butter or whatever. I've made it into tea, and Ted's face is like, oh.
What would make him? He knows that Ted hates tea, so why would he even do that?
You could have put it in hot chocolate or something. I mean, it doesn't taste so bad. It's not like the worst thing ever, but tea's not going to mask the taste.
I was going to say, maybe it's because Ted's trying to sort of try something completely different. So he's doing two things with one, like two birds with one stone. He's giving him the mushrooms, but also he's putting it in tea, which he knows Ted hates, to see maybe that'll have
Just
some kind of effect.
Or to see if he really wants it that bad. It's the final test.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about Ted mentioned Sour Patch Kids, and Beard does. They don't form little new pathways in your brain. Picture a sheet of fresh white snow covering all the footsteps of all the paths you've ever trod before, forcing you, nay, encouraging you to begin anew. And that's when he says,
tripping with Beard is a gas.
Oh,
he'd be a great guide to have about.
Yeah. That's when he asks how it tastes, and Beard tells him. So he sits down with, you notice they do their beer toast. Yeah. And then boom, hit the table. And Ted he smells and he can't drink it. He's like, I'm sorry, coach, I can't. He looks over and Beard has killed the entire glass of tea. Not even thinking.
Just sitting there waiting for it to kick in.
Yep. Yeah. Back in the hotel lobby again, the guys are writing down their suggestions for the night's activities. 9 votes for sex show, 9 votes for private party, and 1 vote for tulip. Isaac says,
Danny's like, who could have voted for that?
Yeah.
He's like, it's you, Danny. You wrote it in Spanish. Oh,
yeah.
Somebody wrote it in Spanish.
Someone wrote it in Spanish, yes.
It's the way that Isaac goes, right, we need to vote again. It's just party and sex show, and then Danny goes, I'm pretty sure someone had one for a tulip as well.
That's so great. Oh my God. Isaac says it doesn't matter, but it has to be unanimous. Sam doesn't want the sex show. It makes him uncomfortable. Van Dam points out they're 2 hours from the party, but they're like 10 minutes from watching some sex. Jan recruits 2 servers to help and asks in his language, Van Dam, if he'd rather watch 2 tired people have sex, which she asks him, or go to a party and maybe get himself some. Van Damme says,
sorry, what's your name? And he goes, well, they call me Van Damme. And she goes, they both look at each other, and I didn't pick up what the other girl says. I'm assuming it's idiot or something. Like,
it wasn't subtitled, so I don't know. Yeah.
No, I didn't. But then she goes, well, Van Damme.
Yes.
It's just great, like, condescension.
It's as well when they say they're going to be tired. He goes, "Oh, they're going to be tired.
Tired?
Tired?
Yeah,
I'm out."
He's literally, nah, fine. So they agree to go to the party. But first,
yeah,
they got to have some food.
They don't know where to eat. And you can see Isaac just going, oh, like, here we go again.
Yeah.
Look, if anyone listening or watching this lives with a woman, you know exactly what this is. Because this is life with a woman. You know what I mean?
I'm terrible for this, though, as well, man. I'm like, I don't know what I want.
Yeah.
If you're getting takeaway or whatever, I'm like, I'm going out to eat. I can pick, but I don't know. Yeah. But again, this is sort of Isaac's fault because he should have just killed it dead in the water. We'll get stuff on the way. Don't put any more stuff to democracy. Democracy doesn't work. It's a failed experiment. It took you 2 hours to decide to go to this party. You could have been there by now.
Yep. Should have.
You notice that Colin sneaks out here and Trent follows him. Can you remember back to watching this for the first time? Were you putting together that what's happening with Trent, or did you think, oh my God, why is he following you?
I think they do a really good job of framing this. Like, obviously they don't hide the fact that Trent's a gay man. Like, he has his pride mug and he's doesn't he wear a pride shirt at one point as well? I
think he's got a rainbow shirt on it or something. Yeah, but he dresses fabulously anyway, though.
He does. Those boots he has in this
those
episode.
Boots are fierce. Yeah.
Oh God, I want a pair of them. But like, it's still because obviously Trent's a reporter and Trent's writing a book about the team. They do a really good job of framing it as being a bit more sinister than it actually is.
Yeah, like he's going to scoop Colin. Yeah,
even to the point of Colin's reaction when he sees Trent. In the bar, and it's like, oh God, oh God, oh God, and then it's a really nice kind of like pivot on that where it's like, no,
yeah,
I'm not like that. Like,
but Colin scuttles off, and Trent follows him, looking like the 16th Doctor Who. Like, he looks good, doesn't he? Like,
he definitely should be in the running for a Doctor Who.
Oh yeah,
special. But yeah, I love the fact that the gay bar is called Prick.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? Like, is that too much on the nose, you think? Come on, man.
Nah. Well, mate, the event there is called Thunderdong. Yeah, it's not
true.
Subtle, is it?
Yeah. So
before like this bit as well. Oh, there is before.
Before we're back on the boat, and I'm still calling him Mathis. Watch that be completely wrong how you pronounce it. I don't know.
Is that Mathis or Mateus?
Maybe it's Mateus.
He's
returned.
Said, so I don't know. Yeah.
It's never said. Yeah. There's a nice exchange between him and Rebecca. He says he left because he didn't want her to think he was watching her shower through a peephole. And she mentions, you're dating yourself. I had you pegged as more of a webcam guy. And he doesn't seem to pick up on what she's implying, so she lets it go. He sees that her foot is bleeding, so he patches her up and he tells her he was in the military and he was trained for this. When he's done, he kisses the bandage and then apologizes.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
but it's also a habit, and I'm like, okay, so he has got a little girl, or he had a little girl.
Oh, yeah, it could have been tragic. I didn't think about that. He offers some brandy in her tea, but then she's like, look, you're a woman, okay? You're already with a strange guy you don't know. He has your clothes. He has just kissed your foot, okay? Now he's offering to give you booze. At this point, you're like, all right, I think I'm going to stay over here. You just stay on your side of the room. Because, like, it's 2024, man. What are we doing? But,
Yeah, it is weird. But also, he's very disarming with it, which, again, serial killers.
Yeah.
But, like, if he was going to kill her, he'd have just killed her. Like, he wouldn't have let her have a shower, made her a brew. Like, the whole boat thing doesn't scream serial killer, does it? It just screams bloke. Right, it's the foot kissing thing. I was like, but
I think the thing is that obviously, like, Rebecca is still very much like putting up barriers, isn't she, with people that she's just met, and she's very like defensive to like with this guy. Obviously, like, she's just met him, so you will be a bit like kind of taken aback by the way he's acting. But he's a lot more kind of like obviously, because we do find out like shortly after this that he's also divorced, and but he's clearly like, again, like we were talking about with like Ted and Rebecca both being at different stages of it. Like he's like even further along. He's like pretty much like at the point where he's like, it is what it is. I'm happy with or without whatever. What happens.
Yeah.
What will be, will be.
Preislich. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. He's pulled out a large box of clothes for her to go through. Said they belong to his old partner. He never says wife, by the way, which I found interesting. And said that she was tall like her. She says, I'm sorry. Did she pass away? And he says, well, unfortunately, no. Which, you know.
See, it's disarming though. It's a little joke. So I think after the fuck kissing thing, I was completely on board with him because it then comes across as very genuine and very caring, and which for a Dutchman seems a foreign concept, based on what we know of the Dutch from this show. But yeah, from this point in, and then she's like, "Yeah, go on, I'll have some brandy then." And I was
and he offers a foot massage after dinner, which completely sets off a massive red flag.
Well,
she
again,
says,
"Mate,
absolutely,
bide your time."
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
You just stand there wet with sore feet.
I was gonna say again, he's probably a lot more like, as I say, we've established the Dutch are forward in the show. That's one thing, but like he's also probably in where he is in his like sort of like accepting the separation to where she is with the Rupert separation. He's a lot more further along. He's just relaxed. He's just like,
we get a bit later on, but kind of it tells you everything. Yeah, when
but also he says the fact that he acts like completely nonplussed about it, like, or you can wait until your clothes dry and I can put them you and them in the taxi.
Yeah,
it doesn't affect me either way.
That's good.
Or you can sit down and have some tea. Yeah, have some food with me.
And this is the first time he mentions the word gazella. Which we don't. And it's funny to me how that she just every time he says it with no knowledge of what he's saying.
Well, you think you just like it's yeah.
That's a very British thing though, isn't it? It's like the
politeness
of like, oh yeah, okay. And then eventually, obviously, when she's had like a couple more drinks later on,
what are you talking about?
What is that?
It's the thing that if you don't hear someone say something twice, you can't ask them a third time. You go, sorry, excuse me. Oh, okay. Even if they have no idea what they just said, it's just social etiquette.
It is.
Back with Jamie and Roy now. Jamie's talking about how Amsterdam got its name, and Roy is completely gassed. He is gone. He's blown up. He tells Jamie to stop, and he sits down. Then he tells Jamie he's never been to Amsterdam. He says, not one stag pie. I love that. Not one international match. Not one emergency flight diverted here because some EasyJet passenger was being a prick. Roy says that never happens. It does. It does happen. If you're being enough of a prick, which I was. He's very proud of himself. Like I got a whole train. I got a whole plane turned around. Are you kidding? Oh my God, that was wonderful. Roy says, it just looks like a Disney version of an old city. It all looks so fucking fake. He says, it's not fake. Come on, windmills? Fake. Like, what?
He doesn't believe in windmills.
Doesn't believe in windmills.
Yeah.
He says, I ain't even from here and I'm offended.
I'm not.
It's great.
But like, this is the hill James prepared to die on, that like windmills exist, and they do.
Yeah.
Like but the fact that Roy was like, no, they're not real. Like, I can't think of anything else comparable to it.
I don't
He's
know.
like, right, come on then, we're going to go and find some windmills.
Also, there's a lot of windmills just randomly dotted around Amsterdam.
Yeah, there is. But you think, is it like a touristy thing? Like,
decoration.
Yeah.
Well, I remember I went to
we have them in Britain. But
this was like literally like in the city like center. We went to like it was like a bar, but it was on like the waterfront. It was just a big massive windmill like It was clear. It was clear that they built everything around this fucking thing as well. It was insane.
Yeah. He said, Roy says, I believe it when I see it. What? Jamie says, we need bikes. Roy goes, what? No.
No.
Yeah.
But
Panics a
Jamie's
little
off.
bit.
Jamie's having a whale. He's off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
back in Beard's room, he's sitting there with Ted, and Beard's like looking at his fingers, and
he's doing that stroking thing. But,
very impatient.
Well, no, it's more of a tactile thing because it's starting to kick in, I'm guessing.
Well, I thought so too, but then we find out what happened at the end.
Yeah.
What he tells him.
But again, is that true?
Yeah, I think
Oh, no.
I think that can be construed that maybe like he never like like a placebo effect, like he told Ted he had when he actually hadn't.
Possibly.
But also like I think Beard's he's in Amsterdam,
and he's sitting there with Ted,
and he's sitting there in the hotel watching
the Keeley video.
Yeah, which by the way, that Keeley video is the exact same one from the Liverpool one.
Yeah.
Where he just changed
over in Dutch.
Yeah,
because you can even see it like mild and karaoke.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. So he says, Coach, if you want to go, and Beard immediately stands up. I'll see you in the morning, Coach, and leaves.
It's like a beard-shaped blur as he leaves, like a cartoon, just a cloud shape, and then he's out. Like
the next bit is when Colin goes into the gay bar called the Prick. No C, just a K. He asks for a vanilla vodka, and the bartender laughs at him.
Do you have vanilla vodka? Oh,
yeah.
No.
No. Trent has come in, and Colin is visibly shaken.
Well, it's Colin, right? Because this is. Do you know who I am? That's what he says.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is
the barman. Do you recognize me? Do you know who I am? So this is like he can
says,
go out and have a night out doing what he wants to do without fear of someone finding out, which is a horrible way to have to live your life. Which
Oh yeah.
But when Trent comes in behind him, he immediately sort of, a beer for my work colleague too.
Did you say Thunderdong? I must be in the wrong place.
I must be in the wrong place.
What's good is when Trent follows him out, Trent is very much in a defensive posture as he's talking to him. Like, I don't mean any harm. I'm not here to hurt you.
Trent's a sweetheart, isn't he?
Trent
is.
Immediately gets it. And he's just like, I already know, Colin.
Yeah.
And he says, I've known for months. Now, do you think, if what was it? I think there might be a reason why I haven't told anyone.
Yeah, there must be a reason.
It finally clocks for Colin. Oh, yeah.
But also, I think this is like really good for Colin in the sense that he's like kind of been not doing it on his own because obviously he's had like partners and stuff like that, but he's not had anyone who's sort of like they're like readily available to sort of confide in.
Well, someone who's been through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We go from this.
No, it's just that thing of like the immediate, like the defensive posture drop, and like Colin's just like there's like a huge sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Of him like, oh, thank God, at least someone knows.
He's found an ally, so to speak.
Yeah.
We go from this to Ted. He's checking his phone. He texts Rebecca again, who's not answering. This is twice, I believe, he's texted her during the show.
Oh, but if you look, there's a string of gifts that he sent her as well. Like he's bored, isn't he? It's like it's what you do.
Yeah.
Who can I message? Yeah.
But because he's obviously like he realized Rebecca's not doing anything, so he's kind of like, oh, see if she wants to do something, like just to.
She want to come to Yankee Doodle Burger Bar.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah. We see that. By the way, that bit with Keeley is all the way. I'll call back all the way to season 1, episode 7, which was Make Rebecca Great Again. And then when we see the glass of tea again, it's nearly empty, and Ted has left the room. You're like, oh man, things are about to get cooking now, So back on the boat, he is preparing dinner. Rebecca is wearing his ex's dress. He tells her that his ex was unfaithful and he almost destroyed their family because of it. And you could see the wheels in her head spinning because she could have done the same thing. And he realized it didn't happen to me. It happened for me. So she hears something on the radio, she says, "This is a Dutch bloke singing 'She Believes in Me' by Kenny Rogers." He immediately defends the singer. I don't have the guy's name. Who has his name?
Oh, I couldn't get it. It was it's just like the
can
legendary something.
The legendary, yeah. As if everybody knows who he is.
Like further to your point, Jay, that's the moment though when you realise that he is completely at peace with what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it could have destroyed us all, but I made sure that it didn't. And like I said, it didn't happen to me. Yeah. It happened for me. I honestly can't remember. But he says like, the gambling man did it first.
Yeah.
Andre
Hayes.
Andre Hayes.
Or Andre Hayes.
And he is singing is the great Andre Hayes. And he is singing Zij gelooft aan mij. I don't know.
I'm assuming that's She Believes in Me in Dutch. Yeah.
He says the gambling man did it first, which is a great little reference. Yeah.
And she scoffs and walks away, and then he just starts singing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this lovely bit of breaking down Rebecca's barrier, just chipping away at it.
Because Hannah Waddingham is a great singer. She belts it out.
In a way, the way he's kind of being like that is kind of like when Ted first met her.
Yeah.
Like but obviously now she's a bit more sort of like receptive to letting people in. Obviously she still put her guard up.
But it's a random stranger, but yeah.
Yeah, but like she's put her guard up and then obviously she's realizing this guy's actually seems really nice.
Yeah,
and it's slowly, and then at this point when he starts singing with it, it's like he's broke her down. He's in there.
The scene next with Jamie and Roy. Jamie's getting 2 bikes. This little dude that's getting the bikes for him like they're
the most Dutch looking person in the world.
Yeah. It's like he's getting them crack or something. It's like
the way that Roy's like running looking for where Jamie is, and Jamie's like lurking in like the alleyway,
around the wall, smoking. I'm like, and he's
blow our cover.
Yeah. We need 2 bikes. No.
He tells me he doesn't know how to ride one. Yeah.
Never know how to ride a bike. And there's the pause.
Yeah.
And then they burst out laughing at him. I'm like, that's the one thing you don't want to do to Roy's, laugh at him.
I love how the guy stops laughing and says, "No refunds." And then just runs away. He just runs away.
€60. Here's 100. He's off.
Yeah.
To buy some crack, probably. Yeah.
Probably to buy crack.
But yeah, we get I get another Roy's tragic childhood story of his granddad was going to teach him when he came back from Sunderland, and he died, and I never learnt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, God, Roy, it's heartbreaking.
He says it all in one breath.
but then he goes, which I then realise is a great dishonour to his memory.
Yeah, well, that's it. And then Jamie's like, well, let's lay him for granddad. And Roy's like, shit, he's got me.
Yeah, he's got him.
This is we hear BJ Thomas. Didn't have to look this up. I know this song. Raindrops Keep Falling in My Head by BJ Thomas, which they played, of course, in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Classic song for that.
There's a couple of references to Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid with these two, just in this bit. But yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. Roy, the first bit where Jamie's behind him and Roy's like this, and then he just falls over.
It's like, how many pratfalls can you do on a bike? 8, right? We're doing all 8 of them then. It's so good.
Oh my God.
Put your feet on the pedals. It's like when I was trying to teach my sister to ride a bike. It's like, put your feet on the pedals and pedal, and they're flailing them around. It's like, Roy, you're a grown man. You must have control of your limbs.
It's like there's telling someone how to ride a bike and then actually helping them. When you just say, put your feet on the pedals and pedal. Well, they know that. They know that. But
it's that, and then he tips over, and then what's the one? I can only turn one way. It's going right.
I can't turn the other way.
He picks up the bike and throws it at him as well.
There's the bit as well where like he's about to fall off, and Jamie rights him, and he gets off the bike and just shoves him.
He throws a bike at him. Jamie goes, well, how's that going to help anyone?
How's that gonna help?
Oh, it's so silly.
Oh,
But
that's
again,
awesome.
it's literally a montage of bonding, isn't it? Like it's like
Yeah.
Roy's helped him, he's helping him back in a much different and weirder way. But also, there's no brakes on those bikes. That worried me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Unless they
notice
then stop pedaling and it locks the back wheel on.
I would say that's probably what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Yeah. And he finally gets the hang of it and he yells out, let's go find a fucking windmill.
He zooms off
Great.
though.
Yeah. We go to this this jazz bar and Higgins and Will are hanging out right in front of the stage.
Oh,
It-
this.
It's
It's
so
a bit
good.
open, isn't it? Oh no, it's like that time I went to an improv comedy night and they all made jokes about how I look like an altar boy.
He says, thanks
Oh.
for doing this, Will. One pilgrim alone is merely a zealot, but two pilgrims together, that's a pilgrimage.
Hmm.
And it's the first time Will sees a guy and girl making out. And you're like, why do they keep referencing the guy and the girl? Then it pays off in the end, big time.
Oh, it's so good.
Yep.
Oh my God. From out of nowhere, it pays off.
It's the last of the triangles.
Yeah. Oh, well done. What? Yeah. Back to Trent and Colin. Trent's telling him about coming out to his family. This is a great scene, dude.
This scene is fantastically played
Mhm.
because it could have been done kind of crassly, which Ted Lasso never does. But just the whole bit, like they've got some beers, they're sitting down, having a heart to heart, and it's a beautiful bit.
Yeah. And you learn as well that like Trent was like married and I was a kid and
Yeah.
like just was in complete denial of who he was, which is insane because he's so self-assured now.
Yeah.
But again, it's like it's kind of like a reoccurring theme in this episode, like where of like who you are now and who you can be further down the road, and not in like obviously becoming that person, but like in like sort of accepting like your situation. So you have Rebecca with Matthias on the boat with like obviously the separation. You've got Colin and Trent here, where Trent's obviously Colin's like still in the closet and he's not told anybody, whereas Trent's like a proud gay man and he's telling Colin like the hardest part is telling everybody, but once you have and it's out there,
They can't
not
take
to
it
worry
off
about.
you.
Yeah. And then obviously the other one is Jamie and Roy, but it's kind of like each other. So like they're kind of like helping each other be more accepting of one another and sort of taking each other's qualities and blending them into one person.
Yeah, it's not where you
Same
are,
brain.
it's where you end up, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the line Colin says, I don't want to be a spokesperson. Fucking
That's
great.
It's where he says it's like I've got my one life, which is with the lads in the sports, and I've got my other life, and I just wish they were both my one life. And I'm like, oh my God, this is heartbreaking. But he's like, he doesn't want to be, like he said, I don't want to be a spokesman. I don't want to be. I just want to want to be able to kiss my fella the same way after we win that the lads can kiss their girls. And I'm like, oh shit. But that triangle where they're at,
the pink triangle.
It's actually called the Homo Monument, which is a bit on the nose, but never let me say the Dutch aren't direct. Yeah, which is a memorial to all the gays the Nazis killed. So yeah, because you used to wear a pink triangle to identify them. So take it back, yeah. But then he mentions like Anne Frank heard these bells. Again, it's just oppression and things. Yeah, it's just why I'm tearing up now thinking about it, because it's so well handled that this must be a thing that a lot of people have to deal with, and not famous people, but it's a struggle.
Well, they've handled it better than actual football has, which is good.
Well, yeah,
because I wouldn't say it's taboo. I'd just say because obviously, and there's something that comes up in a future episode that you'll address with it, where people in the crowd are people in the crowd, sadly.
Yeah.
And that's as a result of that, I don't think there's anyone in the Premier League who's openly gay. There's a couple of like lower league players who are. There's a couple of players in foreign leagues who are, but it's still very like
you don't do that.
Not you don't do it. Just
no, but it's like Colin says. It's like career suicide, isn't it? It's
Well, it's one of, the line that really hit me hard was, I don't want to become a spokesperson, because he doesn't want to have to keep telling everyone his story. He just wants to
live his life.
Yeah, and he shouldn't have to. He shouldn't have to justify it to anyone.
No.
But it's the same thing with a lot of sports. Like unfortunately, there's a lot of backwards thinking people. There's a lot of problems with racism in football. There's a lot of problems with homophobia in football, and unfortunately, until like fans can change, which may never happen, you'll tend to find that there's a lot of footballers who don't want to come out because they don't want to subject themselves to that abuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, until a gay person is just a person, until a black man is just a man. I mean, that's the goal, is that one day we get there. Can we get there? I don't know. I mean, the best of us hope we can, and the rest of us don't care.
Yeah,
I should say the rest of them.
There's always going to be narrow-minded idiots, sadly.
Yeah.
Boink Studios is the home of Tom Clark's Main Event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Visit the site today for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Check out the site and bookmark today, boinkstudios.com.
I find it funny, Ted ends up in a museum after Trent had mentioned it earlier. That's where he ends up. And
see, I think some of them it's open because it's museum act and they're open late.
That's fair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The guy that works at the museum has a great spot, and we never see him again, but it's lovely what he says to him about the Van Gogh thing.
He again, he's like foreshadowing for what's coming for Ted in this episode, when he obviously at the end he gives him the pad, like the notebook, and he goes, "There you go, you can have this."
We close in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But no, it's the sunflower, and he says that's the national flower of my state, where I'm from in America. Yep. So he's still homesick as hell as well. And I think that's why he ends up going to Yankee Doodle Burger Bar. Because he's like, well, it's just, it's in his bones now, isn't it? He's just, But
yeah, it's really good. He and I find it funny. Ted says, "Saying merci beaucoup," says mercy buckets.
Mercy buckets.
And the guy's like, "Yep," and he's just like,
"Yeah, please leave."
Yeah, just walks off. It's a great bit. It's a nice little scene. I really like that quite a bit. Talking about Van Gogh and his struggles and his demons and everything. It's really nice. Back in the hotel lobby, the guys are going nuts on each other. Danny yells, "We're in Holland. We should try Dutch food." Richard yells back, "As a Frenchman, I would rather die."
I said, "You've wasted your entire... But then you've had an evening together. You've done something together as a team, even if it is argue about everything."
That's true. Yeah.
You could there'd be a Pizza Hut or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Isaac yells, "Enough." Basically, we're like torn apart by this crossroads. Is this it? Should we huddle around the laptop for a movie night? How else do we proceed? Yeah.
It's like Braveheart.
By the way,
sort of like...
what this has got to be lifted from something. Do we know what this is lifted from?
I could not. I was racking my brain, and I could not think. It feels like it is from some sort of biblical epic sort of.
Because he's speaking
sort of thing. He's speaking weird.
How doth we channel this lack of compromise? This dissension, this rage. Awesome.
You're in the lobby of a hotel. Calm down, lads.
How come no one's told them you got to keep it down? There's other people.
Them two waitress ladies are just watching them. Like, this must be the most exciting that's ever happened.
That's right. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
And they've all had a skinful now anyway, aren't they? They're not going anywhere now.
No, it's not happening. We've all done it. We've all hung out with somebody or been our significant other and talked for an hour and a half about what we're going to do. We end up doing nothing. I've been there. Yeah. It's Sam writes something on a napkin and passes it through 4 different people to get up to him. And we don't know what it says. Yeah.
But he looks at it and you get a kind of, look.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an idea.
So, Jay, we might come back to it if you find something there. So, Jamie and Roy are. Yeah, I don't know if there's.
Very interesting. I did find a very interesting tidbit about the football match at the start.
Yeah, what is it?
Which it foreshadows pretty much the whole episode. So the goal scorer names, 2 of the players, Creek and Honig, were ex-Ajax players. There was one called Demo with the Go-Go. That's not a reference to anything. But then there was one called Regenboog, which translates to rainbow in Dutch. Obviously because of the LGBTQ stuff. And Oosterkerk is a church in Amsterdam, which is the other name of one of the scorers.
That's right. That's the church that they're sitting outside of. That's
the church that, So rainbow and lovely little bit of foreshadowing there.
That's nice.
I didn't even clock the names, to be honest. Well done.
And this
that was only from me trying to find what the actual whether there was any inspiration for that. I was just on the trivia on IMDb.
Ah, nice. This next bit with Jamie and Roy is quite great. They're just cycling together. Jamie says, I've been to Amsterdam twice. When I was 14, my dad was just trying to get back with my mom, and he was acting like some kind of fucking super dad or some shit. He brought me out here for some father-son bonding time. He said it was to watch a football match. After the game, he took me to the red light district for my real present. He took me to lose my virginity to those ladies behind the windows. And Roy says, Jesus, must have been traumatizing. He goes, no, she loved it.
I think she liked it.
Oh, you mean for me? Like, it took him a minute to realize what he meant. Oh my God. The Jamie we met in season 1 is still there. He's narrowed down quite a bit, but he's not totally gone.
Oh, he's still arrogant as all hell.
Yeah,
but yeah.
He gets defensive as soon as Roy says that because he thinks Roy's talking about it's traumatizing for the woman that she's got to sleep with Jamie.
No, she loved it.
And then he's like, "Oh wait, no, you mean you're actually being nice to me? You mean
for a 14-year-old boy to go and have sex with a lady of the night? Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah,
just fair that proves that Jamie's dad's an arsehole.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. He tells Roy that him and his mom came back a couple of years later, did the tours, had stroopwafel. What is that?
Stroopwafel. It's like a waffly biscuit that you put on top of your cup of tea or your coffee, and the steam softens it up, and it's very nice. It's normally like wafer with caramel in the middle stuff. They're very nice. Yeah, they're kind of, but they're waffly. They're kind of, like waffle indented.
Kind of like a wafer / waffle.
Yeah. They're very nice.
Really nice.
But Jamie thinks that's the epitome of high class. I had stroopwafel.
Yeah, it stayed with him. He's like, you never forget that.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Roy
again,
apologizes.
Fond memories with his mum.
Yep.
Horrible memories with his dad.
Yeah, good point.
Well, it's interesting because he obviously says, even though he wasn't there, it felt like he was because I'd done stuff with my dad there as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's merged the two memories of both to be in the one just love of the place.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much father-son stuff happening in this series. When you really start piecing it together, Roy and his granddad is a father-son connection. Really, there's a lot of it happening in this show.
There's the when Ted's in the burger barn as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about the basketball game. And he goes, "Oh yeah, I watched it with my dad." And then he has that moment where he goes, "Oh," and then,
yeah, drifts off. But I mean, even if you look at Higgins, and it's a proxy father. There's always these things there throughout it. But it's but this whole story thing is again, it's just these little bits of you get to understand why Jamie sort of is the way that he is. Because
I find
his dad's always in his head.
Yeah. I found it interesting how Roy told him, I think Keeley has a girlfriend. Wonder what would lead him to believe not a boyfriend, not dating someone. He specifically says, I think she has a girlfriend.
Does he know who Jack is?
I think he'll have probably met Jack when they've been at the club.
Maybe.
But yeah, obviously he's kind of, and also because Keeley wasn't exactly quiet about talking about like going to see Aurora Borealis with Jack. So I think Roy knows who Jack is. Keeley's going to do something really romantic with Jack. Roy's not stupid.
Yeah.
And then Rebecca saying as well, someone who actually thinks they deserve it.
Yeah. Plus, we don't know how much time has passed between the kiss and this, how much time they've spent hanging out and stuff, and if she's been around, the training grounds and the stuff less or whatever. Because she's normally knocking about, isn't she? So
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, he's not a stupid man. He'll have put two and two together. Jamie, on the other hand, not a clue.
Yeah. Jamie says, let's go find us some windmills. And that takes us back to, by the way, not to get off on this. Well, Jay, is there a Don Quixote windmill thing happening that maybe we're missing too?
Oh,
I don't know.
That just hit me.
Yeah, possibly.
I was one thing I was thinking was it as well. It shows how much Jamie and Roy have grown in the fact that they both apologize to one another for being assholes instead of like nipping at each other's heels like they would have been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, there's like a mutual respect between the two of them now.
There is,
because Roy's helping him, and Roy can now ride a bike to honor his granddad. It's
again foreshadowing for later in the show.
And he's taking him to see a windmill. So that's going to shatter one of his core tenets of belief that windmills don't exist. Yeah.
just like birds.
Oh, birds aren't real. Yeah.
Roy apologizes, and we get through all that. Really great scene. Ted ends up in the Yankee Doodle Danny Burger Barn. Love that. That's something out of Righteous Gemstones right there, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Isn't it a Pulp Fiction reference?
It is a Pulp Fiction reference. The song that's playing when they come in is the same one when they go into Jack Rabbit Slims as well.
Ricky Nelson, Waiting in School.
Also, God, do you reckon the foot massage thing is a little wink to Tarantino? Because he's foot obsessed, isn't he?
Could be.
Well, made it even worse somehow now.
The other thing that I kind of like, there was quite a few parallels with the Big Lebowski in this episode.
Yeah.
So that the foot thing could have been obviously when she asks him to put the nail varnish on her toes at the start, and then when Ted's in the restaurant here, and it kind of like zooms out, and it's like the sort of the dream sequence with the triangles. That's sort of like when the dude gets his drink spiked, and it's log jamming. Not log jamming. That's the other film. Gutterballs.
Yeah, I think this is Donald in Mathland, I believe, is what this is supposed to be referencing. But no, even when they walk in, the whole panning shot thing of seeing the servers and stuff is very similar to the Jack Rabbit Slims in Pulp Fiction. Yeah. But looks like it's downstairs as well. It looks like a diabolical place to go and eat this.
I mean, it probably is downstairs.
Well, yeah.
A lot of places in Europe are like sort of below the surface.
I like when he comes in and the girl says bang, and he goes like that, and they've all got there's French fries and onion rings and baskets, and
again, that's so like does feel so like Coen Brothers Tarantino, like just the way it's shot, like where she does the shot and he goes like that. Oh, it's great.
But Elvis is on the big screen, by the way, too.
Oh yeah, I mean, it looks like they randomly just pulled things from American pop culture and stuck them on the wall.
This guy who is
like someone's drawn it from memory. Yeah.
It's like if AI did it. That's what this would be. Oh, there you go. There's our up-to-date hip reference. So this guy who's actually has the character has a name. Yeah, right. This character actually has a name. It's Aiden.
Yep.
I don't know why we need to know that, but it's Aiden.
No,
It's not a very Australian name.
No.
he's not going to become Bruce.
I love
Should've
this
been.
guy.
That's a really
says-
Australian name.
What is?
Bruce.
Bruce. He says, "Welcome to Yankee Doodle Burger Barn." That's a fun thing to say. Table for one? Yes, please. Yeah, hey, where in the state you from? Melbourne.
Melbourne.
And he just straight face. Plenty of room
Well, then
tonight. Where would you
there's-
like to sit?
There's some great accent blending from Aiden at this point because he
Yes.
drifts between American and Australian
Yes.
really well.
He says, "Where would you like to sit? Windy City, Big Apple, or Hollywood?" He goes, "Oh, well, tell Mama that Roxy Hart is coming home." Lip shits. And he just
And he
stands
looks
there
at him
and
like
he's
a
like,
dog that's been shown a magic trick.
Chicago. Yeah. Just-
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
you
he-
know Chicago, and he's still looking at it like
There's
Windy
nothing.
City.
The Windy City.
Yeah. And then
Follow
Aiden
me,
says, "Great, mate. Giddy up." Like,
Yeah,
what are we
that's
doing?
the bit that killed me. 'Cause it's like,
They just gave him
Americans don't
keywords
say
to use.
mate.
Yeah. They gave him
He's
keywords. to
Australian.
use.
I know, but then he goes, giddy up. He's got to remember to say the
Yeah.
catchphrases. Can I get some of you hombres, some nachos to start off with? It's like that sort of thing, yeah.
You know what this made me think of? This made me think of Japan, because living here in the States, we've always heard about how Japan is fascinated with American culture, about how they have diners and places with throwback to the 50s and 60s. And you know what I mean? That's what it immediately made me think of.
A friend of mine went over there recently and went to an Irish-themed bar there. Just, because you do when you're British, you go to play, they went to, Japanese places as well. They went to that robot cafe where,
Nice.
yeah, boy, I want to go there just for the
Gotta go there.
robotic Donatello firing Uzis, Shredder or whatever was happening. He said it was the most surreal thing I've seen. But, the Irish bar, it was like an Irish bar, but everything turned up to 11.
Wow.
It was so aggressively Irish, it hurt a bit. But they had the guys behind the counter were trying to do broken English Irish accents, and they were like, "Can we practice our Japanese?" I was like, "Oh, thank God!" Yeah, it was. But yeah, it's the Japanese thing of taking bits of other cultures and just ramping them up. So, Japanese punk music is insane because it's the core of punk, and then they've Japanesed it up. I think this is what this is as well, because I know American diners are like this, surely. Like I said, it feels like a hellish TGI Fridays.
Yeah, it's way overdone.
It's like Uncle Moe's.
I found it interesting that Chance the Rapper was on the wall next to Jordan. They're like, "Wait, he's from Chicago. Let's put him on the wall too."
Oh, I didn't know who that was, so I'm assuming someone else had picked that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got a big 3 on his hat.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, well done.
Yeah.
Telling you. Back on the boat, Rebecca and I think we've
So
agreed
much
it's
in this
Matthias.
episode.
Yeah.
I think it's I googled it before. I think it's pronounced Mattis.
Mattis. Oh
Okay.
man.
You had that. That's
Well-
how you started. I led you down a path. Sorry.
But it's a bit. I'm not 100% on that because there's a Portuguese version, a German/Belgian Flemish version, which is also probably the Dutch version, and there's a French version as well. So it's who knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call him Boatman.
Call him
I
Boatman.
just wrote him as the Flying Dutchman because Dutchman on a boat.
Flying Dutchman. I like it. He's Dutchman.
I was gonna put Love Boat, but it felt a bit on the nose.
Well, no one's gonna get that but the three of us.
Dramatic Grandpa. Anyway.
I'm saying. So she asked about Gazella,
Oh my God.
and
If
he
it
says
is
it
Love
has
Boat, when the waitress goes, bam. That's... No? Never mind.
no, I got nothing.
Futurama references for nobody. It's
Oh
fine.
yeah, I totally missed that.
There we
yeah.
go.
I totally missed that. He tells her about the name. It has no translation, no real translation. It can mean cozy, like a warm fire, but you can also keep your mind, Gazella, right? Your heart, your soul, the people you're with, the places you go to, even this right now, that's what this is. The dryer buzzes. She gets up to grab her clothes. He says they feel pretty dry. She throws a glass of water in. He does it too, and they get right back to the table.
It's a lovely little tie into when he just throws his phone in the canal at the start as well.
Oh yeah.
Again,
Well
just
done.
these little. I don't mean you can't have a second meet cute, but it is just these little random acts of madness. Yeah, I looked up like the Dutch word for it, and it encompasses a lot. And which why it doesn't really translate, but it is just like that warm feeling of, a warm feeling like in your soul or whatever, when you're you're having a good time with friends, or when you go and see loved ones, or it can mean so many things that there isn't. There's just like there are some words that just don't translate into English. Like what's the one? L'esprit d'escalier, which is it literally translates as the thought on the stairs. And it's, when you think of something really witty as a comeback 2 days later.
Oh, yeah. That's
what that is, yeah. Yeah, it's just, but there's no British word for that. There's no English word for that.
Interesting.
Just because you've got a terrible language.
We have got a shit language.
We go back to the restaurant. Ted has received his onion ring pyramid and freedom fries. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Oh, onion ring pyramid.
Onion ring pyramid.
Triangles again.
Pyramid. Oh,
Triangles again.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Even though it's not technically a pyramid, it's a cone. But
it is a cone of onion rings.
and it also
sloppy
looks,
cone.
It looks nasty.
Yeah, I was going to say also onion rings don't have the structural density to be able to build a pyramid.
These ones probably do because they look like cheap catering.
Those ones you could mold like plasticine into a pyramid.
You could build an igloo out of them.
Yeah.
I've had them on a, I don't know what we're calling it, but I have had it like that, but they're thick, they're big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's not that many, and they bring it to your table.
It's one man on his own.
Yeah.
There is a metric ton of onion rings there.
Yeah.
It's the beige buffet. Yeah.
We've got a
beige.
We've got a big scene coming up here. This is
tremendous.
This is a turning point for this entire show, because after this, things start rolling for Ted and the team, and we'll get there. But man, this is pivotal, like big time pivotal. First, she asks if he's enjoying the game. It's an old, playback of the Bulls, and then he's like, "Hey, I bet you $1,000 they win at 107-86." And she just looks at him. He's like, "I'm just kidding." And then he mentions, as we said earlier, he watched the game with his dad. I used to love watching basketball with him. She says, "Thank you for sharing." But she doesn't say it condescendingly. She's very sweet about it, which was nice. Yeah. She says, "Please feel free to choose from our menu of 50 nifty United sauces." Great. And there's a lovely queso from Puerto Rico. He says, "You know what? Just surprised me." He's watching the game, observes the triangle offense, and sees Nick dressed as a cowboy server. Howdy, Ted.
Freaked me out.
Yeah. And apparently the drugs are kicking in, kids. She brings him a jar of the Arthur Bryant barbecue sauce, which she says this is the best. By the way, folks, if you're playing along and taking points, this reference is all the way back to the first season. Episode 2 of season 1, Ted receives a ball of what he calls the best barbecue sauce in the world in a care package and describes it as the thing that teleports him back home. And it's this. And also in season 1, he nails the winning dart against Rupert with the word barbecue sauce. Okay. After tasting the sauce,
the background on his laptop is an Arthur Brandt barbecue joint as well.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Because it's from his home state.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I will say the barbecue sauce he puts on that plate looked fucking vile though.
I'm not a big fan of barbecue sauce at the best of times.
I'm a big barbecue guy, and it didn't look a nice color.
I like it if it's good, it's good, but I don't want it to smother my food.
It's always too sweet for me. But
if it smothers, I can't have it. I like the mustard barbecue sauce too.
Just mustard, just English mustard.
I like
on
it,
everything.
but it's like A1. If you eat A1 sauce on your steak, it's not a steak. You have destroyed it.
Yeah. You're not allowed to put sauce on steak. It should be illegal.
No. If you got to put sauce on the steak, your chef is terrible. All right.
Yeah, I'll take it at the side if I want to
dip a bit in.
Yeah. Like fondue.
I'm not gonna pour that shit on it though. No,
I'm not doing that. Nah. After tasting the sauce, Ted has an epiphany that involves a sports figure many Kansas City fans know, Tex Winter. We know, by the way, he passed in 2018. He is the father of the triangle offense, which he used while coaching Kansas State. And then the Chicago Bulls ran the triangle offense in the 80s and 90s when Winter was an assistant and Jordan was playing.
Nice.
So big backstory there.
Another Jordan callback as well.
I know, right? The room goes black and he hears a voice. And by the way, there's some stuff here too. This voice is Corey Burton, a voice actor. He is the current voice of, get this, Captain Hook, Ludwig von Drake, and others for the Walt Disney Company. He's Shockwave on the Transformers, Brainiac in the DC animated universe, Count Dooku and Cad Bane in the Star Wars franchise, Zeus in the God of War series, yes, and Hugo Strange in Batman Arkham City.
That's very cool.
That's some pedigree, isn't it?
That is some pedigree. I've killed that man so many times and got
yeah, I was going to say I've snapped his face in loads.
Yeah, and Arkham.
Well, we did have another Star Wars. We got a Star Wars connection here again. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Dooku and Cad Bane.
I'm just saying. I found this was a great spot. This is a great spot. He says, "Hello, Ted." He says, "Hey, that's me. Who are you?" "I am the true spirit of adventure." He said, "I like that. What's shaking, TSA?" I love how he's just in the moment. And then he starts telling him where triangles come from. He says it's debated that the triangle was first defined by Pythagoras as any shape with three sides and three corners. And then, of course, Ted has to get off of Tedism when he says that's a good theorem. But right. He says throughout history, many believe the triangles have held special powers. The Holy Trinity of Christianity to the Trikaya of Buddhism.
Yeah.
Yep. There's also that spooky eye thing on the back of the $1 bill. That's great. In some Native American cultures, the triangle symbolizes home. Ted says, "I'm sorry Europeans kicked all them folks out of their triangle."
Yeah.
Jesus.
But while all this is happening, you've got these proper 1970 Disney-esque animations happening, and it's proper trippy. It's not as bad as like Pink Elephants in Dumbo, because there's nothing worse than that. But this is kind of
This is great. I love this scene. It's so.
I'd say it reminds me a bit of Big Lebowski when he's like, when he's like the bowling, as I say, the operatic bowling scene. It reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah.
He takes a shot to the head in that movie.
Yeah,
he does
at some point, doesn't he? And then suddenly it's like cartoon time for him, where he's flowing or something. I can't remember what it is.
He gets his drink spiked. And then
that's what it is.
He has that dream sequence, and then in the it's in the police station after where the policeman throws the coffee cup at him.
By the way, if you like Tom Clark's Jason Podcast, we've got a live watch along of Big Lebowski.
With me and Ben.
Yeah, quite pleasant. So
stay out of my beach community, Lebowski. Stay out of Malibu, you bum.
Oh, man. The voice says that the concept of the triangle reached its zenith in 1989 when a man called Tex Winter, as we just said, Chicago Bulls reference, introduced the triangle offense. A player always has two available teammates to whom he could pass the ball. These three players formed, and Ted says, a triangle. And he says, bingo, Ringo. So he gets off his own Tedism.
He gets Tedism in there. Well, it's Ted's subconscious, isn't it? So it's going to be Ted anyway. But yeah.
That's fair. He says, but that was never the only triangle on the court. When the players moved, they created more and more triangles. He says, hey, you're right. And the voice says, actually, Ted, you're right. So we go from that little Disney moment back to reality, and Ted borrows a pen. He doesn't hear the crew. Did you hear what they're singing at the table, the birthday song?
Oh, my God, that birthday song. America won the war, but Canada won the West.
Yes. The West was liberated thanks to Canada.
Liberated thanks to Canada.
Dude, what? This thing's gone off the rails in this restaurant. I don't know what happened, but it's gone off the rails. Back in the jazz bar, Higgens is playing the he's like airplaying the double bass.
Double bass, which is
he's
me.
Very, very into it. And Will is once again sees the guy and girl making out. That's coming back soon. The singer notices Higgins. She comes down and asks if he plays, and she invites him on the stage. And that's when we start getting a montage here, kids. This is really nice.
Well, yeah, because Higgins is really like freaked out by that, isn't it? Isn't he? And then it takes Will going, oh yeah, he told me about Chet Baker. Do you know who that is? And
yeah,
and she kind of gives him a look like, no,
yeah.
But no, Will's like, oh no, yeah, he plays. Yeah, he's very. Go on, Higgins, do it.
Mm-hmm.
It adds to kind of like the other sort of theme of this episode as well, which is kind of like sharing and support, where obviously Higgins and Will, like Higgins is telling a story to Will, like he's sharing that moment with him, and then later on, Will's going to offer him support. Same with Roy and Jamie with the bike stuff. Same even with Ted and the waitress here, where like he shares with her and she goes, "Oh, thanks for sharing," and then they give him the pen and they're all just watching him like write down his tactics. And obviously Trenton Collins is the other big one as well.
I like how they said that he still has his pen. He said, Derek's going to make you buy a new one. Like, I fucking hate Derek. And they all go, yeah.
Derek's an asshole.
But he's just got all the sauces from the restaurant on the table lined up as well. Like, like, oh, we need to phone someone because this man is clearly insane. Or he's going through a bad trip.
Yeah, yeah. Rebecca and Mattis dancing, and Roy and Jamie, who finally found the windmill. And the song playing is Chet Baker. It's Let's Get Lost.
Yeah.
That's what you hear playing in the background. By the way, when the song is, we got to mention also Colin and Trent in the bar. They're back in the bar. They went back in together.
Yeah,
and he's
doing
he's
shots.
got a vanilla vodka.
He's got a vanilla vodka. Like the barman brings it over specially for him. Like he's having an ace night, and he makes Trent drink it, and Trent's face is like, because it's like, it's horrible.
You think they went back to the same bar? Because the guy before made out like they don't have that.
It's Thunderdonk. They've got everything, mate.
Yeah. Oh, there you
go. They've definitely got it. It was a test.
Yeah. There we go.
You've got to have a beer first before you can go on the hard stuff.
There you go. Yeah.
Like vanilla vodka.
The guy and girl who'd been making out the whole time have stopped, and she's smiling at Will as the song ends.
The eyebrows, yeah.
We'll get there. The next morning, Rebecca asks Mattis if they've had sex. They realize they never exchanged names. She kisses him and says, she says she'll never forget him. And he says, you might. And she looks like she's hurt by that. And he's like, people get Alzheimer's. Again, it's that Dutch thing, you know. It's good.
This is really well written though, because she doesn't outright ask him, did we have sex? She just goes, did we?
Did we?
And he's like, did we what? And then obviously he's just playing coy about it, and he goes, no, we did not.
No, we didn't.
And then when she leaves and he goes, did we? Yeah, I think we did. And it's just really nice, really cool scene. Again, I brought it up before. It's massive reference to the Before Sunrise trilogy, where, like, as I say, people meet on a train, they go see a European city together, spend a day, and then kind of like go, I'll never forget you, I'll meet you in X amount of years. And then they do. And then they do it again. But yeah, it's just a really cool little reference.
That's cool.
For a very niche audience, apparently.
Yeah.
I got to look that up, though. Now I want to see
it. So, yeah, because there's Before Sunrise, which is come out in 1995, and then Before Sunset, which come out in 2004, and then Before Midnight, which come out in 2013. So they literally
actually spaced them out in real time.
They actually spaced them out in real time as well, yeah.
That's nice, yeah.
Very good films.
That's cool. The next morning, and again, well, of course, we're on the next morning. Will's loading up the bus. He's talking to his mom on the phone, telling her about Higgins getting on stage, and a van pulls up. This van is great because out of it comes Beard dressed like Bowie as Ziggy Stardust, and he's wearing a pig nose.
It's the fact that he's shouting at them in Dutch, and then Will goes, "You speak Dutch?" And he just goes, "Don't tell Jan Mas."
Yeah.
But again, I found what he says, and he names everyone in the van, and then he says, "I've never had so much fun in one of." He names the car, the name of the van, and then he also mentions the Greislig thing as well. This has been totally Greislig.
Sweet.
Oh, nice.
That's so cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the
Very
"don't
cool.
tell Jan Mas" like thing. Is he?
Yeah.
And then
That's
Will
great.
like shuts the side of the van and goes, and then they offered me a threesome. I
Yeah.
was like, that's your mum.
Well, yeah, he says, "Sorry, Mum, I was just talking to the coach." And then they offer me a threesome.
I met this most lovely couple. I love how it cuts really quickly. We never hear about it again.
Nope.
No.
Very quick joke. Yeah.
Will is one of the biggest enigmas in this show because
Yeah.
he just drip feeds you like really insane things, and you're like, "I want to know more about that," and you never hear about it again.
Home life's like.
Yeah,
And
he's up there with Beard.
I was going to say, give Will 10 years. He's got the beard aura about him.
Oh,
I'm saying.
well,
So
give him 10
he
years
gets
to be where Nate was.
yeah.
He'll be a coach.
He gets on the van or on the bus, and Ted says, "Let me guess, Piggy Stardust." And Beard goes, "Rashers to rashers, oink to oinky."
That's such a good joke.
It really
Ted
isn't,
says,
but
"Oh."
okay.
Oh, it's so good. It's so bad. It's good.
They both imitate the explosion because they, shared brain, right?
Yeah.
Ted apologizes for leaving Beard alone in the city with a head full of tea. Beard tells him it was a dud batch. Kenneth confirmed. All right. Have we decided this is the truth? It was a dud batch. So what was happening with Ted?
I think Beard's told Ted that he's put something in it, and he hasn't at all. He's just trying to get Ted to like. Basically, Beard's whole thing was he was telling Ted to open his mind to new possibilities. That was the whole crux of what he was saying to Ted, and Ted was still very like, I don't know. So by Beard telling Ted that he's like experimenting with drugs, where he thinks he's having his mind altered and he's opening his mind. In reality, it's a placebo effect, and he thinks he's doing all that, but he's actually not. He's just, because he thinks he's on drugs, he's like kind of looking at things differently. And then he had that fever dream in the restaurant because he's probably got food poisoning from the onion ring pyramid.
It could be, or it could be that it just wasn't. He sort of microdosed Ted, and it's not enough for Beard for it to have any effect. Is another possible option.
Or he put it all in Ted's.
Or he put it all in Ted's. Or yeah, there's. I mean, again, it's one of those things that we'll never know. The fact that Beard was so happy for Ted to have a do at it makes me think that. But then Beard wouldn't. He hadn't drank it when he left, though, had he? So
I think the thing is as well is that Beard thinks that Ted's. I feel like Beard thinks that Ted doesn't really want to do it. He's just saying.
Which is why he put it in the tea.
Yeah. But then maybe he didn't put it in the tea. Maybe he just made tea because he thought, well, Ted's not going to drink that because he hates tea.
Yeah.
Like
maybe
there's
that's
so
what
many
tea does to Ted.
Maybe. No, tea makes Ted spit it on people.
Yeah.
Tea and
in the peanut butter that's on the side, the open jar of peanut butter.
Well,
that's when
Ted would have enjoyed it too much.
This is how far we go. We go down the rabbit hole of stuff that they don't. The show never answered because it doesn't matter, but we still do it. That's what we do.
But again, it could be that he didn't give him anything, and it was like you said, the placebo effect for it, or he just gave him a wee bit because you can't give someone who hasn't done it loads of it because they'll freak out. Like,
that's true. Very true.
So I think I legitimately think he just microdosed him with it. And then Beard went off and had a whale of a time.
Yeah.
And Ted was just receptive enough to, because again, otherwise that whole animated sequence thing is really out of place.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Again, that could just be Ted's thought process. That could be how Ted thinks of things, is with a Disney spin on it, because he is, and we just for the first time see inside his head. We don't know. It really doesn't matter. But
it could be like that guy from Gen V who sees everyone as Muppets.
Oh yeah, or Black Noir. Also saw everyone like the cartoon from the burger place that I can't remember. But yes, these are all options available to us.
I think it could go either way. I think it could go either one of you guys. What you're thinking, and I think it would work either way. No, it's fair.
Yeah. No, but it's I get it's up to you to then make the decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that it leaves it as kind of like an open-ended question. Did Ted ever take drugs, or did he not take drugs? We just don't know.
Ted shows him his.
I was gonna just say Beard's got a big enough brain that he could have convinced Ted that he's took drugs when he actually hasn't.
Well, like I said, he's been drip feeding him this triangle theory since episode 1. You know what I mean?
Through all 3 episodes. Or through 3 seasons. Yeah, through 3 seasons he has. You're right. Yeah, jeez.
And 3 seasons makes
a triangle.
Oh, shut up. Wow. He hands him the book and he says, "Is this anything?" And the book is magnificent. Like there's plays in there. Yeah.
I like the bit where it says triangles, and he's just spelled it differently. Like that is a drug-addled brain.
That is a drug, to be fair, yeah.
Or it could be a manic episode. It could be the opposite side of his, panic attacks. He could have funneled that into. I don't know.
That's another thing that's kind of interesting, is that obviously just before that, he does mention his dad, and he kind of has that moment where he goes, "Ooh," like as if he's about to have a panic attack, and then obviously instead of having a panic attack, he has that epiphany.
I found it good how the guys are coming back on board the bus, and they're happy and they're relaxed and they're comfortable.
Oh, we missed the entire thing of what they did. What was on the note?
Oh yeah, it was pillow fight.
The pillow fight.
Oh yeah.
Ted requested it's either a movie night or a pillow fight.
Oh,
this epic pillow fight with
I forgot
them 2
about
waitresses
that.
just drinking cocktails, watching them.
We did miss that. Yeah.
Which is, again, a callback to Make Rebecca Great Again.
Yep.
It is.
And what happens in this episode? Rebecca meets an Iceman. Making it great again. Boom, full circle.
Oh, my God. See, is the show that good, or are we just that good for catching it?
Both.
Oh, wasn't Make Rebecca Great Again the night out in Liverpool?
Liverpool, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is the night out in Amsterdam. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Different city.
Well, as we said, in the first, it was the first episode, wasn't it? It is literally, this whole show is like a full circle.
Yeah.
So this is literally the opposite side to the Liverpool episode as well, as far as episodes apart.
Yeah, I think we agree. It wasn't a circle; it was a line, and then it just does the same in reverse. Yeah.
And to your point, Jay, instead of a panic attack like he had in Make Rebecca Great Again, he has this epiphany.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same actions and everything.
And about the same time in the show as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Well, again, he's looking at the book and he's talking to him about it. And he says they got to have one of those backs. The guys, they got to. They got to just be themselves. They got to be comfortable. They've been playing too rigid. You got to have freedom. Everything the triangle gives, constant nonstop motion. And he's like, Beard says, "You come up with this yourself?" And he goes, "Yeah. Congrats. You should call it total football." He says, "Oh, I like that." Which was invented right here in Holland in the 70s. He says, "You think we should try it?" And Beard's like, "Yes, I do."
Yes, I do.
That's awesome.
It's when Will gets on. He's like, "We're 2 people missing. Who is it?" And then it's Jamie and Roy
first.
Yeah, I was going to say
Jamie and Roy, but Roy fell off his bike, and I'm assuming refused to ride it anymore because Jamie's giving him a backie on his.
I think he wrecked it. Didn't he wreck it? Because there's that scene after they see the windmill, he wrecks it.
He just veers off into the side of the road. Like, oh,
During
you
the
lucky
montage.
lot, as he comes running in, which again, I don't know whether that's a reference to tires from space or not. I don't know, but could be funny if it was.
Probably.
But then, did you see the Dutchest man in the world comes in and takes the bike off him and go and sell it to someone else? Probably.
Yeah, he was just there. Like he was
He's
just
a
there.
one-man bike thieving operation. He's tremendous.
Yeah.
He's definitely called Jens.
Yeah. Also, Roy and Jamie would stink. They've been running all day. They've been cycling all night.
Yeah.
Rebecca's come on in the midst of all this, and Ted says 12 unanswered texts, 3 unhaha gifts. We good? Or gifs, right? Rebecca says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Ted. My phone is at the bottom of a canal." He says, "Is that Keats?" And she's like, "Nope."
Have you noticed the way they're sat as well at the back of the bus?
Yep.
They're sat in a triangle.
Guess what it is? It's a triangle.
You got to stop
Yeah.
doing that because this is getting damn ridiculous.
Well, Rebecca, it's literally Rebecca's sat one bit, Beard's sat directly opposite, and Ted's in between the two of them.
I think Rebecca literally puts her legs up at one point to make the line
Yeah,
up
yeah.
one side
She
of it
does.
as well. Yeah.
Oh, what? Yeah. They it's when the guys get back on and everything, and Van Damme says, "I bet the sex show was dope though." And of course all the guys react to this.
And
Ted
they all
asked
start
Rebecca.
singing,
Yeah,
Bob Marley again.
that damn song. Yeah.
What's the song called again?
Three little
Three
birds.
Little Birds.
Three Little Birds.
Yep.
Oh, stop it.
What? I didn't write this.
Stop it.
There'd have been more car chases in it and explosions if I'd have written it.
Take it up with Jason Sudeikis and
Uh-huh.
Beard and everyone else.
Again, but when you watched it, you didn't notice it. That's the beauty of it.
Mm.
It's
First
only when
time I
someone sits there and points it out to you that it's there all the way
literally
through.
from watching it through one time and then obviously going back and analyzing it and knowing what I know was leading up to this moment and being like, oh, holy shit, yeah. But oh shit, I've just realized as well, speaking of obviously like the parallels thing, there is like a big football and things in both episodes. Obviously, the Liverpool one is they can't beat Everton and they beat Everton. And this one is Ted comes up with the new formation that helps them out.
Yeah.
And this isn't episode 3, but it is number 6.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
which is, if you half it, that's 3.
saying,
If you take the letters of 6, that's 3 letters. Numerology, baby.
now we're really diving deep on this.
Oh, numerology is a crackpot science. Don't get me started. What's not even a science?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can make anything add up to anything if you try hard enough.
Oh, sure. Like you can make any metrics or statistics. You can play them however you want, make them fit your narrative. It's the same thing. Like,
yeah.
Or you can do what Terrence Howard did and make your own maths.
Well, yes. But yeah, that's that. Bus pulls away. I thought there was going to be something, so but there was now.
Yeah, it's funny. You see the city as we leave. City's
just a lovely shot of the Amsterdam skyline.
Yeah, nice.
It does though on the credits. It does have God as herself, which is
I didn't understand
dogma
that.
reference there.
I thought that as well. Is it a dogma reference?
I don't know why they'd have a little dogma reference at the end of an Amsterdam episode.
Unless I'm missing something.
The guy that stole the bikes, according to the credits, is Gizmo the bike junkie.
Oh man, he's fallen since being a Mogwai, hasn't he?
Man, that's fun.
Falling on hard times. Yeah, I didn't get the goddess.
Yeah,
herself
it's after midnight, mate.
Yeah, soup waffle.
Well, kids, there you have it. Episode 6, not 3. Episode 6 in the books, and that's what you have there for this episode of Sunflowers, season 3 of Ted Lasso. And as we said before, as we kick this thing off, kids, this is the midway point. We've only got 6 left, and we are done with the show. I know what you're asking, what you're thinking. What are you going to do after that? Well, be patient. We haven't decided yet. We'll let you know when we get there. But in the meantime,
we've got a short list.
We got very short. We
Very
have
short.
3 ideas right now. Huh?
We do.
Do we? I don't know. I was trying to tie back in. Work with me here.
Yeah.
They didn't know that.
No, I got it.
We've got a triangle of ideas.
We're going to watch
too late
British
Oh,
soap opera.
wait. There's 3 of us.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Stop it.
We're going to watch the British soap opera from the 80s, Triangle. That's what we're going to watch. Yeah.
Now, just imagine if the screen were set up 2 on top and 1 on the bottom. That'd be freaky at this. No, it had to be 1 on top, 2 on the bottom.
No, any 3 points. Any 3 points with 3 internal angles is a triangle.
Still in a triangle.
Man, well,
I think it has something to do with triangles. You always on about the triangles, Pythagoras. Yeah, that's Red Dwarf references for nobody, but yeah.
I understood that reference.
Joe, help us get out of here with our sanity. What's left of it? What's your biggest takeaways? Biggest takeaways from this episode?
Like I said at the start, this is your setup now for the home stretch of Ted Lasso. Everything is in place for what happens. I just really love this episode because it's the halfway point of it just does all those things that Ted Lasso does very well. Like I said, you've got the really lovely story with Rebecca and the boatman thing, which again we didn't really touch on. This is you're upside down in water. The not the gypsy woman, the fortune teller said you're wasn't it upside down and you're wet or something? Like,
yeah,
all this stuff is come true. The Green Matchbook, all that, it's all there. You will be a mother is the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't really touch on it because we were obsessed with triangles, but
a lot of triangles.
It's just fed it all through. But we've 6 more to go, and to be fair, I think this is like the best bit of Ted Lasso coming up now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I said to you guys before we started recording, this is my favorite episode of Ted Lasso. Full stop. It's brilliant. It's just you don't need to know a great deal going into it. What's going on? It can be a self-contained thing. As I say, it's kind of like the Christmas special in that sense. And it's just as I say, there's so much little things in this episode that we didn't even touch on. That's just foreshadowing for what's to come. And obviously knowing what we know now from all 3 of us watching it, like it's brilliant. It's just such a clever show. And you wouldn't think that on the surface, seeing it as just like a sort of like workplace comedy.
Knockabout comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just thought as well, you said one of the football players was called Rugentrost, which means rainbow. That's also a Ted Lasso episode from season 2.
Rainbows, season 1, episode 5.
Season 1 episode, sorry, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just popped into my brain then, sorry.
Everything's connected. Everything's connected. Since the second we started this to today, everything is connected.
I don't think we can do anything else. Nothing else is going to top it.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
If there's one show we've discussed which we can go deep dive, I think.
Yeah, but
it's not the one that you think, Joe. It's the other one.
I mean, either are bad, but okay.
Oh yeah.
Fingers crossed for Triangle. Yeah.
Well, as we teased when we kicked this one off, folks, that rumors are still floating around in the ether about the people behind this show possibly coming back together. As we've stated multiple times here before, do we need to see Jason Sudeikis and dyed black hair and a mustache? I don't think so. I don't, if we did, wonderful. I don't think we need it. Would I like to see a spinoff that is hilarious and pulls at your heartstrings? I'd be here for that. But it had to be the right cast, the right circumstances, and got to be a reason to do it. There shouldn't just be we want to capitalize or we miss each other. Of course, there should be we've got a great story to tell. We need to tell it. I got to tell this story. That's the only reason to do it. Like, they wanted the folks behind, was it? And by the way, that we somewhat related. We did do the Watchmen TV series on the 6M, by the way. Phil Lindsay and I did that. And, they went back. That was it Lindelof that was behind that and wanted him to season 2. And he's like, I only had one story to tell. We're done.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
does it very well.
I still haven't watched that. I need to watch it.
It's very good.
So good.
It's very
so
good. And
good.
yeah, it does not need a second season.
Yeah,
Does it have
don't
a
read
big,
anything.
like, murder alien at the end, like the comic?
The twist.
No, but it's more true to the comic than the.
Oh,
Well, there is squid parts. Yeah, there is the big
Yeah.
alien monster thing. Not
that's
the
what I
film
wanted
with
to
the
know.
bomb. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more true to the
And-
comics than graphic novel.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
twist is effing nuts. I didn't see it coming at all. Like, big twist. So don't read anything about it; it'll ruin it for you.
I won't. As I do with most shows, I go in blind.
There you go. There you go. Well, kids, again, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned. We got to thank you again for following us as you have been from day one. Much appreciated. Please continue to share the podcast wherever you can. I won't plug anything really major right now except one thing. Boink Studios, BOINK, boinkstudios.com. Links to this show, to my other two pods, to these the guys you see before you, to Jay and Joe's pods. The links are there. Social media links are there. I update that website on a near daily basis. So please go check it out. boinkstudios.com, or also on YouTube at Boink Studios. There you go, folks. Thanks again for watching. Please stay tuned for more. We'll be back with episode 7 real soon, so hold on for that. In the meantime, for Jay and Joe, I'm Tom. See you next time, kids.